Okay, I'm going to show you how to create a Dreamportal 1.1 language pack. Alright, and first thing you want to do is download Dreamportal 1.1. Okay, what you're going to need is a zip compression tool for this. So you want to get like 7-zip or something like that. Go to the dreamportal.net site after you have a zip compression tool and you download Dreamportal 1.1. Located in the download section of Dreamportal. Okay. Alright, and it's right there. Okay, after you download Dreamportal 1.1 as I have onto the desktop, you're going to open it. You're going to go to the language files from Dreamportal 1.1. Okay. And you're going to copy all the language files from Dreamportal 1.1 zip archive, and you're going to place them into your own folder, which is going to represent your language pack. Okay, we're going to need to create our own folder inside here. So right click and we select new and then folder, and we'll call this folder ANSI. This would be your non-UTF-8 files, language files. Okay. We'll open that up and we'll copy the language files from the Dreamportal 1.1 package. Alright, give it a minute. Okay, and we got our ANSI files in here. Don't worry about the name English, but we're going to change that to our language momentarily, in a little bit. Okay, we'll go back to the language pack directory and we'll create a new folder. We'll name this folder UTF-8. It doesn't matter what you name these folders as long as you give them the right path in the info.xml file. Now we'll copy over the same language files into the UTF-8 folder. Okay. And we'll open up the info.xml file in our Notepad++, which is what we're using. Okay. And this is the info.xml file from the Russian language pack that Bugo created, which is just serves as an example, but we'll create our own. Alright. First thing we want to do in our own info.xml file is define XML version 1.0. Okay. Next thing we want to do is define our language tag. So we type in language. Okay. And then a closing language tag, of course. Alright, within the language tag we have a name tag, a title tag, but we'll start off with name. Now, name is going to be coming from the list of names on the Dreamportal site, which if you look here, it shows you all the names. So like say we're creating a Spanish language pack, we'll go down to Spanish and we'll want to use Spanish _ ES as our name. Okay, that Spanish ES is what we're going to use for the name. This is not a user-defined name. Name is not user-defined. You have to use the same. You have to use one of those within the list. So we go Spanish _ ES name. We give it a title now. Okay. So we go back to our info.xml using Bugo's info.xml as an example. Title, and we'll call it Spanish. Now you can give this a parse BBC attribute as well if you'd like, and you can put BBC code in here as Bugo did already in this example. Okay, so we'll go parse BBC equals true. Now if you don't define parse BBC, then you're not going to be able to use BBC for the title. Now this can be anything. The title is yours, okay, but it should basically it should give the name of your language pack, okay? Then you can link it to your site as well if you'd like. Alright, you can make it bold, do whatever you want in BBC, which will show up when you install the language pack. The next tag is going to be our version. Now this is the version of the language pack. This should be numeric, and it is the version of the language pack. So we'll name it 1.0. Okay. The next step in this package creation is to define our package tag. So there's two package tags in Bugo's example. So we're going to do the same thing. Package. Now the version here is Dreamportal's version. So the version attribute within the package tag must be 1.1 to be installed on Dreamportal 1.1. This is the Dreamportal 1.1 because we're making this language pack for Dreamportal 1.1. Okay, so we close out our tags. Okay. Now we have another package. Now if you see, it's very important. If you don't define the package type attribute, it automatically gets treated as ANSI. So we'll create another package tag 1.1 again for Dreamportal 1.1, but this time, okay, we'll close out our package tag. Okay, now this time we want to define the type attribute as UTF-8. Type equals UTF-8. So if you don't define the type, it gets treated as an ANSI package type. If you do define the type, you have to define it as UTF-8, which you get defined as UTF-8. Okay, now we got two tags in here. We got a translator tag and we got our langs dir tag, which is the languages directory for where the files are being stored. So we go ahead and create our translator tag here. Okay, we'll do a translator. Now you could have different translators for different versions or for different types of language files. So like say, for the sake of this, I'll put my name in, Solo Ghost. Okay, I'm the translator of the Spanish, even though I haven't finished, I haven't even did Spanish. I don't know hardly any Spanish, but okay. Now we'll define our langs dir is going to be, again, ANSI, because that's what we created the directory up here. See, it says ANSI, and that's going to be our non-UTF language files. That's going to hold all of our non-UTF language files, ANSI. So, and this is relative to the info.xml file. Okay, and we'll close out our langs dir. Now for the package UTF-8 type, we're going to define our translator again, and of course it'll be me, Solo Ghost, if I've translated both ANSI and UTF-8, hypothetically speaking. Okay, now we're going to need a langs dir for all of the files, so we need to define that as UTF-8 because that is the other folder that's holding all the UTF-8 files. Okay, as you can see here, ANSI, and we got UTF-8. Again, that's relative to the info.xml file within our package. Info.xml file needs to stay within the root. Okay, so you know, type equals UTF-8. Okay, now we come back and we see that is all, and that is everything. Our package looks exactly like Bugo's, except for it is in Spanish, not in Russian. And we have two packages. Now this is, again, if a Dreamportal 1.2 version comes out, we can create another package tag and we don't even have to edit our original package. All we have to do is version equals 1.2, and that'll be for Dream Portal version 1.2. So we'll be able to create a package that'll automatically work with future versions of Dream Portal. Of course, now we'll need to create a UTF-8 directory or type as well for Dream Portal version 1.2 for when that comes out. Okay, and of course the Lang's dir is going to be different, and translator might be different, or it might be the same. Okay, so this is just an example to let you guys see what that might look like. Okay, but our info.xml file is complete at this point. Okay, so version, that's Spanish ES is the name. That's very important, and the name is not user defined, must come from the list as seen here. Okay, so yeah, the list comes, that's the list. Okay, so we have our ANSI and we have our UTF-8. So now we'll go into our ANSI, select all the files. Oh wait, we're going to need to change the English to the same as the name within info.xml, which is Spanish_ES. So we'll do this for all of our files. And all the language files are now have a .Spanish_ES PHP next to them. We'll do the same thing for the UTF-8. Okay. But with UTF-8 we're going to add the -UTF-8 to the language, just as SMF does with all of their language files. UTF-8. Okay. Do that for every single one. UTF-8 Spanish_ES-UTF-8. Alright, that's done. Okay, now we got our language files. They're already ready for Spanish. We'll select them all and open it up in Notepad++. Okay, they load up in Notepad++, and now it's time to begin translating our language files. Remember, the encoding is now encode in ANSI, so you're going to keep that as is, encode in ANSI. And now this is the area you want to. Now, you don't want to mess with the variables. Alright, don't touch any of the variables. You don't want to translate any of that. Those are variables and they're meant to stay there. The only part you want to translate is the actual strings. Okay, where it says collapse or expand this module, you translate these strings. You translate. You're not going to translate the tags where, you know, of course, is HTML. You don't want to translate HTML tags. You know, you're going to translate this string, view dream menu, buttons, so forth. Okay, you do that for every single file, and then translate all the strings. Okay, if you see variables like this, it says %1 $S. Okay, that just basically means that now it's going to take the strings where it says it right here, and take them strings and plot them into the strings where they're located. So you might need to move those around in order to make sense in your language, but you know, that's something that you need to test. Okay, that's just a sprintf function that allows that to be compatible for all languages. Okay, so now we get our UTF-8 files. We import all of them into Notepad++. Now for the encoding of this, you're going to use encode in UTF-8 without BOOM, without BOM. Okay, Now you're going to do that for all the languages, okay? All the UTF-8 language files. You're going to encode in UTF-8 without BOM, without BOM. Okay, and then you just basically translate them as well and save them. And once you get done doing all that, you're basically just translating the files, and then you got your info, you got your ANSI, you got UTF-8 folders. Basically translate all the languages, okay? All the language files. We no longer need the Bugo's info.xml file, so we deleted that. We're going to delete that, okay? Because it was just set there for an example. Okay, now we'll create our own info.xml and save it. Well, we already created the info.xml, but we just need to save it. And we're going to go to extensible markup language, XML. Okay, select that. And we're going to name it info.xml. Hit save. Okay, so that's saved as an XML file now within our language pack, and it's in the root as it should be, the root of the language pack. Okay, we got our files in UTF-8, we got our files in ANSI, and we're all good to go. Now we just, once say we already translated the whole pack, now we created a zip file. Okay, so we will call the Spanish language pack Spanish.zip. Now we need to test it out, so we'll go into our Dream Portal test site, load that up. That's right here. Alright, we'll go to Dream Portal, and we'll go to the administration of Dream Portal, extend Dream Portal, and add languages. Okay. Alright, so we go back to our language pack. Alright, make sure we get that and put that in there and upload. So we've uploaded the Spanish language. It's in there, version 1.0, and the translator Solo Ghost. Okay. Now, of course, if you don't have the Spanish language installed on the forum, it's not going to help. And of course, we didn't translate any of the actual strings, so our language is still in English. So we're going to go to languages. Okay, we need to add the language, Spanish language, of course, to be able to test it in Spanish. I mean, you should already have the Spanish installed on your forum, but if you don't have the Spanish language and you download it, okay, as you see, I've got all the Spanishes there, UTF-8 and the ISO 8859-1. Okay, we change it to UTF-8. Now we see our forum is in Spanish, yet all Dream Portal strings are still in English. That is because we did not translate any strings. This is just for the sake of showing you what your language pack, how to make a language pack, how to install it, how to add it. And when you do add it, and if you do change any of Dream Portal strings, you will see these strings in the manage layouts. You will see them. Section will say, it'll say section in Spanish or whatever you have translated it to. Okay, you just want to make sure that you get all areas of Dream Portal. So you're going to need to go through all the sections and check to make sure that everything is translated into Spanish. So you want to make sure you get all the help files, all the help strings, I mean. Make sure it's all translated into Spanish. You'll be able to see all your translation strings in here. You go to layout settings and make sure everything's translated in Spanish. And everything looks exactly the same as it should, and nothing is messed up. And especially, again, I cannot stress the importance of your help strings, making sure that all of the help strings are translated in Spanish into your language, whatever language you're translating it into. Okay, help string there. There's a ton of help strings within Dream Portal. Okay, And if something's wrong or something, you just go right back into the file and change it, and then delete the language pack and re-upload it, and you can see it. Okay, so we'll go and you got a Spanish.zip package, and once it's done, it's 35 kilobytes. You could just go ahead and upload it onto the Dream Portal site. You can also create another package, Spanish.tar.gz if you want, and you can see, test that one out as well. And there's your Spanish language pack, and we'll go ahead and just create a Spanish.tar.gz file. Let's delete that, yeah. Spanish.tar.gz file, and what you want to do is going to go to add the archive. You're going to select tar, going to hit OK. Okay, now you have a tar pack. Of course, we're not done yet, so we're going to need to make a tar.gz pack. So you would right click on that, 7-zip it, add to archive, and then you just select gzip. I use the best compression you can, is ultra, and just leave everything the way it is and hit OK. Okay, now there you got your Spanish tar.gz file. It's weighing in a bit of 30 kilobytes. Get rid of the tar. Okay, so now we got two language packs, Spanish tar.gz and Spanish.zip. And they could test this tar.gz file by just getting rid of the current Spanish pack, which is a zip one that we've put in. We'll delete it. Okay, it's done. Now we'll go ahead and choose the tar.gz file and upload that. Okay, we've uploaded it. Done. And there's our tar.gz file. And we don't need it, so we could always delete it or whatever. Okay, that's how you test out your Spanish packs, your language packs in Dream Portal 1.1. And that's how you create